to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show on Blog Talk Radio with me, Astrologer Shelley Overton. Each week we go over the planetary positions, discuss astrology, and take callers' questions. If you would like to call in and get a reading, you can call 347-994-3365. Call in early as the lines fill up. Okay, all annoyance at Blog Talk Radio aside, welcome to the Blog Talk Radio show, AstroEnergy Astrology. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. I apologize if you actually did hear this, but it appears that there was no sound on the first 8 minutes. And so now I'm going to repeat everything I just said. Unfortunately, I was not on the air, so I've got to talk about this and see what's going on because this is just unacceptable. Anyway, I have to call in twice to get on the air. So hopefully now everybody can hear me, and I'm sure Rach will let me know if she in fact can hear me. It looks like I'm on the air. Yay. Anyway, welcome to the AstroEnergy Astrology Show, a few minutes delayed. And my name is Shelley Overton, and I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. Today is a gorgeous day. It is 64 degrees, on its way up to 75. And I will tell you, I feel like I deserve it from the weather I've dealt with in summer. It is very much welcome here. So if you're planning on coming down to Orlando for Disney, definitely plan it this time of year. It's gorgeous. Anyway, so we are dealing with a lot of Aquarian energy and a lot of Aries energy right now. And of course, Aries is the sign of fire, and Uranus, Mars are joining up. They're getting closer, and we've been seeing more aggression in the news. Things, I know last week there were a few gun events, and, anyway, and I can tell you, things have been going on around my world just crazy in the last couple of days, just like crazy in a sense of non-stable. And just things changing on a dime, literally. I will tell you a little story before we get into the planets, but this is a Mars joins Uranus story. So yesterday, well, the day before yesterday, let's put it that way, I was sleeping, my daughter was sleeping, and got awakened by multiple fire engines going past the house. You can see the lights. There was no siren, or were no sirens, plural, because it was plural fire engines. And we didn't know what was going on, and it was kind of curious, but, there are a lot of fire engines that end up, since we've been here 3.5 years, we see a lot going down this road, and usually I anticipate that it's this young man in a wheelchair because he drives down the paraplegic or quadriplegic, and he goes down the road in a wheelchair, although I haven't seen him for a couple of years, so I hope he's okay. But anyway, having these fire engines come down this road isn't that unusual, but there was a police officer, which is kind of unusual, that usually there aren't police officers. So we were a bit concerned. And anyway, we were able to get back to sleep because, there were no sirens. It kind of tapered off. But yesterday, we were curious as to what happened. And around 6 o'clock last night, I researched online to see what it was, because usually the local news programs, they have it. So I looked it up, and apparently there was a fire in this house. It was actually an animal rescue property, and they had many animals. Apparently dozens of animals died in this fire. And it's called the Second Chance Animal Rescue, and it's in Orlando or Bithlo, Bithlo, Florida. If you're interested in donating, they're talking of trying to rebuild, but all these animals lost lives, and it's really sad. It was cats and dogs and reptiles, and I know it had Oh, I saw a video. They had goats, they have raccoons, they have all sorts of animals at this place, and I didn't even know it existed down there. So anyway, so to continue the story, this is how it relates to this Mars Uranus energy, other than the fact that it's a fire, which I've been mentioning. I did a blog on my website about that. I literally put it up the day before yesterday, or no, maybe it was, I'm sorry, it was right before I found out what happened. I put this up online, and it was talking about fires and things like that. So anyway, I called my mother and I wanted to tell her what had happened out here because it's an event locally and it's only 2 miles up the road. And so it appears that she has a friend who had them come out and rescue a raccoon that was around her house. And this friend that my mom has breakfast with periodically at Panera, they go every morning. She had heard the story about what happened, and a couple weeks ago, this man who owned the sanctuary had a neighbor who was practicing guns or shooting off his guns nearby, and it was disturbing the animals. And so he went over and talked to the man to please settle down or stop doing it because it was disturbing his animals. And so allegedly, there is a potential situation there, and I know it's under investigation for arson right now. So anyway, if you would like to see something about it, type in Second Chance Animal Sanctuary in Florida, Orlando, Florida, and you can see the devastation. And if you are so inclined, please donate to this cause because they're going to have to rebuild. They're doing a really great service out there, taking in so many animals. And I mean, I'm also taking in animals. I've got 3 cats now, and the third one is in my back bedroom in heat until I can get her spayed as soon as that's over. And that's a whole other story. I had the window open yesterday for her to get some fresh air, and she escaped through the open window. I had to grab her back. Hopefully nothing happened, but, you know, my life in the country. Anyway, then we were going over to my parents' house last night, and my daughter was a little concerned about her safety out here. And halfway over there, she notices an email, and it basically she got accepted to college. So this is my Aries Mars Uranus story, and I can tell you, if you're dealing with things like this, things change on a dime. Uranus is the unexpected, and we are getting a certain amount of cooperation, a certain amount of unexpected energy, and also, like I said, this fire, emergency, aggression, assertiveness, all this energy is mixed up into the same bundle. So having Mars joining Uranus, they are, like I said, well, maybe I didn't say, I think it was on the non-recorded part of the show, Pluto is squaring Mars currently by about 3 degrees. It's a separating aspect, which means that Mars has now gone beyond 21 degrees that Pluto is at and is now going closer to Uranus. So he is pulling away energy from Pluto. He's actually just passed a sextile to Mercury, or actually Mercury is also a quicker planet, so he's approaching this sextile to Mars. So I would say in 4 days from now, Mercury, it will be in sextile, and sextile is a cooperative aspect. So the interesting energy here is that Mercury is kind of a lesser vibration of the same energy of Uranus. Uranus affects the masses. Mercury affects locally. It affects individually. The inner planets, which are and lights, so Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, are quicker moving planets, which means their energy comes through our charts really quickly and then can bring up some issues but moves on. But it also means that it's an energy where you deal with things one-on-one and interpersonally with your friends, your family, or individuals, as opposed to collective. The slower moving planets, which are Jupiter, kind of right between the two. Jupiter takes a year to go through a sign, but a year is a long time. It means everyone born during a year in a time frame will have that same Jupiter in their chart. And so it's kind of right between the two. And then you have Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And so they are really generational planets, and they affect masses of people. Uranus is in that category, and Uranus affects us through intellect, through the mindset, through our understanding of things and awareness and clarity. And so when Uranus is triggered, it's triggered through understanding and awareness and clarity. And Mars is the activator. He's the action taker. And so he wants us to do things. Joining a doer with a thinker means that we have thoughts and then we do them. And Uranus is a very quick energy. So Mars takes energy from that quick-mindedness. And he's already a very action-based energy where he isn't prone necessarily to thinking first then acting. He's prone to acting and then thinking. Well, joined up with Uranus, he's getting a huge download of information and understanding that is fueling him to take action because he doesn't know how to process this. So in our charts, in our individual charts and the charts of the country and the countries, we are feeling this agitation of wanting to do something based on what we understand to be true. So right before I started the show, I was reading up on the news, which I like to do every day, and probably to my detriment. But I saw an article about one of the fathers of the Parkland shooting, and the victim of the Parkland shooting, and he is now an activist, which is very much a Uranian energy. Of course, Mars and Uranus is activism or action taken around things like guns, firearms, fire, pyrotechnics. We can also see, an increase in fireworks. I've been seeing a lot of fireworks on the podcasts and the YouTube channels I watch lately. It's probably just my mindset because I'm attracting that in. Part of this cluster of energy that we are getting in the sky right at this degree. And so it is a final push to get the information out there and to understand, to be more aware of how these energies work. And it's the energy of quick-mindedness as it relates to the physical, to expression of action, and assertiveness, aggression, and ambition. Ambition is the positive aspect of this energy. It can be, but it can also mean that children, and I know a couple babies that were born this week, they're going to have very intense energy in their charts. They're going to be extremely active kids. They're going to want to do, and they're going to be really aware of how their energy is expressed out and given to others. They will feel it and act. So it's a very quick energy. It's probably ADHD if you have to label it psychologically. They do relate. And as an astrologer, I always take the psychological terms and go, well, you can label it that way, but I have to tell you, and I'm a Scorpio rising, that rules psychology. So I'm not bashing something I don't understand on some level. I'm not bashing it the way, but when you take psychological energy and you say, oh, well, this is how you are, we want to label things. I think that's kind of a human thing. But as an astrologer, I understand that everybody expresses energy, and they express positive energy and negative energy. And when you have planets lining up in a certain aspect, especially in individual charts, you're going to express that energy out. And if you don't have any other reference, you have to process it somehow or align it with something so you can understand it. And psychology kind of brings it into those systems and tries to understand it. But for me, I use astrology as a cause and effect, that there is a connectedness of our universe. And in Buddhism, it's called Eshofuni, which means oneness of person and environment. We are part of the collective. When we see something in our environment, it didn't just happen into our environment. We are part of that environment. Like, I live in this neighborhood where this energy is prevalent. There's an expression out from me that reflects back to me, a feeling, and I'm going to tell you this, and I've said it this week too, just to give perspective on things like that or in your environment. If you're in an abusive relationship, that doesn't mean you're abusive. It means that you may be a victim. And you're seeing that reflected because you don't necessarily believe you deserve better. So when you're in an environment that reflects negatively back towards you, it is part of you, but you may be expressing the opposite of that. And so what we're trying to do is get to the middle and understand the center point, that we don't have to act in extremes. And I can tell you Jupiter and Sagittarius, which Jupiter is in Sagittarius today, is an extreme energy. It brings out extremes. So honestly, looking at what's going on right now, Jupiter at 18 degrees Sagittarius, Mars at 24, Uranus at 28, they are in trine, Mars to Jupiter. And Mars is also trining Venus a little bit until she moves completely away. I think she's only one more degree away from exiting a trine to Mars. But Jupiter is bringing an extremism also to this conjunction. And as he gets closer and closer to Capricorn, he is showing all of us collectively that there are extremes to our behavior. Everybody has an extreme somewhere, and especially when Jupiter is in Sagittarius, we are seeing it. And I can tell you that's in my house of money, and I definitely have lived extremes in the financial spectrum in my life. So we see it in our charts. So anyway. Okay, let's see what else we have. We have Venus at 1 degree Capricorn, and I do believe the show is about Mercury in Pisces because that's coming up. So I will get to that because the he energy is almost in Pisces. I will talk about that here in a couple seconds, but I just want to finish off most of the other planets before I get to that. Venus in Capricorn. She was in Sagittarius, saying, hey, I want to do my desire, which is Venus. My desire is to travel, to educate, to learn, and somewhat have those feelings that are very much unchained. Sagittarius is the sign of freedom, doesn't want to be kept back. So Venus had about a month of freedom. Now she's in Capricorn. She wants things tangible, literal, and down to earth and reliable. So going into Valentine's Day, we're going to see more of that practical energy, especially because Uranus is going into Taurus right around that. Actually, that's not even the one that's affecting it as much. Mars goes in on Valentine's Day to Taurus. So Mars at early degrees, Taurus, trining Venus, Mars and Venus in Earth signs are going to be very practical around relationships, around couples, and Valentine's Day. So I see it more as a year of traditional romance. So dinners out, flowers, movie, candy, that kind of thing. But more tactile because Mars in Taurus likes the feeling, likes the smell, wants to see and feel, and also wants us to have the expression of love in material ways. So remember, Taurus is the earth energy and it is the material energy. Taurus is a sign of the material goods and values. So we have to see it physically. And so it's not one of those years where, say, Venus or Mars are in an air sign, which is about the idea of love, which in those years, poetry might be a better option, or something that's ideal or ideas based. This year is much more tangible, down to earth. There are probably going to be a lot of engagements, and as I wrote in my blog, the engagements are going to last. Venus in Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn, and around Valentine's Day, Venus will be within a couple degrees of Saturn. So she's going to say, hey, I want to create a structure here. I want something solid and tangible. And that's it's a great time for both marriage and commitment of engagement, because it's about, you're going to be here with me. So better really hope that there's somebody you like, because if you don't ultimately get along, you're going to have a harder time breaking those bonds. So that, we move on to Sun, Mercury, and Moon today in Aquarius. And that is the energy, again, the unexpected. They are in sextile to Mars and Uranus. They are answering to Uranus in Aries today. So there is this collective energy around being agitated with the way things are. Uranus wants things to change, okay? Whatever you're looking at in your life that needs to change, Uranus is there stoking the fire, literally. So, and that's the other thing I want to mention. I didn't mention all this energy. We've got 3 planets in Capricorn now, the sign of literal. Everywhere I go, and including my own life, everyone's using the word literally. That's like the catchword. So it is very Capricornian because it literally reminds us that it actually is happening in this world of quote unquote fake news. It really exists. It really is something that happened. So, but it can also be used a bit liberally. I've noticed people like, no, not literally, but figuratively. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Sun, ego, Mercury, communication, thought process is very quick now, very sharp. I let my son, who has this cluster of planets in Aquarius, know that the moon is there this week, well, for a couple days. Hey, your mind's going to be bouncing off the walls. You know, I have had a hard time sleeping. My daughter had a hard time sleeping. My mom, I think, mentioned she had a hard time sleeping because this energy wakens us up. It's an electrical energy that is stimulating, not pacifying. Okay, that's a great segue to Mercury in Pisces because Pisces is pacifying. Pisces wants us to chill out. And obviously, I've had caffeine because I don't sound very chill right now, but that's okay. Mercury goes into Pisces on the 11th, and I'm going to get exact on that. That's just by my table. I want to give you an exact time. The 10th at 5:51 a.m. So the first full day of Mercury is the 11th. Anyway, Mercury enters Pisces on the 10th of February. Guess what? Mercury retrogrades during its time in Pisces. So I'm just looking here. So Mercury, and get this, Mercury gets to 29 degrees before it retrogrades. Can you even believe that? 20 degrees. It literally gets to the very last degree, and then it retrogrades. So it retrogrades in its own sign from 29 back to 16. So as of the 19th of February, we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. Goes retrograde on the 5th, and again, I'm going on the table, so it's within 24 hours. So the 6th of March, and then it goes direct on the 27th of March, and it's in its shadow again, 29 degrees, until the 17th of April. So we have literally 2 months of Mercury retrograde or Mercury influence in Pisces. And what does that mean? That means that Mercury, planet of communications and thought, is in a very watery, emotive, psychic, esoteric energy of Pisces. It is going to be talking a great deal with Neptune. It's going to be taking Neptune energy all the way to the limits. What are the dreams? All the way to the and then taking us back again to understand our own motivations and thought processes and how we need to bring in the understanding that is higher. This is a tremendous faith energy, learning how to trust what you don't see and what is coming in for you psychically or intuitively or emotionally and in your dreams. It means mentally we are probably getting over the burnt out energy of, well, I shouldn't say burnt out, but it kind of feels like we're burned out with all this Aquarian Mercury is going through right now. And of course, Mercury, it has been going through Aquarius for 3 weeks, and it will get to Pisces in a week, 5 days actually. And so it's finishing up that intellectual stimulation, and it needs some rest and downtime. So for the next 2 months, starting the 10th, we are going to be getting some of that downtime, that mental downtime. So we're going to be more inclined to alcohol, more inclined to escapism, whether it's food or dreams, sleep. Sleep is really big when we have planets in Pisces. We feel drained and exhausted and really just want to lay down and sleep. So if you feel that over these next couple months, then there's a reason. And mentally, it's because Mercury is in Pisces. Now, Sun is at 16 right now, and the Sun goes into Pisces also this month. Moon is a day today goes into Pisces. So all this energy we're feeling in Aquarius now is moving into Pisces. So it's going to be that dreamy, surreal, probably wet weather, snow, water. Yeah, and when Uranus goes into Taurus and is in sextile by element to Pisces now, remember Taurus and Pisces are 60 degrees apart. All those planets, well, actually, by then it'll be Mercury. Mercury will be sextiling Uranus and feeling this energy, much more psychically aware and wanting to do something that's tangible with it. We want to express it out through the garden, through the environment, through growing something in investments, and very intuitive about where to put that. So listen to what signals you're getting about what it is that you want to be putting your time and energy into. It's coming to you psychically and emotionally. And I'll tell you what I've told clients this week, that is, if you keep going in the direction of getting no, 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 that is a message that that's not the way that you're going to get what you want. You've got to go in another way. And anyway, I could talk on and on about this, but I've already used up so much of the show because I wasn't able to get on the air. I apologize again for that, but I'm going to take a break here real quick, and then I am going to, let me see, I'm just trying to find the right break. There we go. And I'm going to come back and take calls. So if you would like a reading, the number is 347-994-3365. Thanks. Hi, this is Shelley. I have talked before about my art on my podcast. I wanted to share more with you about it. I've been an artist since I was in elementary school. I love drawing and painting. After high school, I went to commercial art school. While there, I honed my drawing skills and ventured into acrylic painting on my own. Since graduating, I have explored graphic, realistic, mixed media, and whimsical art. I set up a site online to share some of my art with you. On the site, you can also see the designs on specific products like mugs, shower curtains, t-shirts, and also in prints. I am excited to share this side of my life with you, and if you are only here for astrology, I have zodiac sign designs and merchandise. I hope you will take a look at ShelleyOverton.com. That is SHELLEY Overton, OVERTON.com. You can also see my astrology designs exclusively on astroart.net. Put a little more color in your life. Okay, welcome back. This is the AstroEnergy Astrology Show with me, Astrologer Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and if you are interested in getting a private reading from me, I would love to talk to you. You can do that through angeliczodiac.com or email me at so@angeliczodiac.com. So let's get back to the show. Let's take some callers here. 770. Hi, who is this? Hello, are you off mute? Hello, you're on the air. Okay, apparently I've put them to sleep. So let's take another call. We'll get back to them. Hi, 202. Is this Kay?
Hey, Shelley.
Hi, Kay? Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, who is this?
It's Kay. Sorry, my headphones were in.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought it was probably you, but it was
But I
a
think
little
earlier
choppy.
you might not have been, there were a few times when I couldn't hear you earlier, to be quite honest with you.
Okay, was it right at the
I know you
beginning?
go through this often.
I do, because
Kind
Blog
of
Talk doesn't
throughout.
let me on unless I call twice into the show, and then I have to tell it I'm not ending the show. Yeah, and it's like, okay, this has been going on for a couple months. There should be no reason, so I might have to
I know.
upgrade
I feel
something.
bad because I know how much you put into your stuff.
I do. I do, and I went on for 8 minutes, and then I'm like, oh,
No,
please. So,
sorry.
yeah, that's okay. Thanks for
Well,
sticking
now
around.
you're back. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I always do.
What can I do for you today?
So I'd like you to look at a new dude.
Ooh, okay, cool.
See
I
what
like
his
that.
energy is like, and like maybe check out our
Sure.
synastry. And I have his actual birthday.
Okay. Let's see. Hang on one second while I set what I have so I can access it if it goes on further. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So the date
Yep.
is January 19th,
Okay.
84.
Okay. Our place and time?
Manila in the Philippines,
Okay.
4:15 a.m.
Okay. Hang on one second. I'll get that place in here, hopefully. Hello, wake up. Why are you so slow? As if see Mars and Uranus. What the heck is your problem? I'm in the spinning wheel of death. Hang on a second. Oh, it's been my week. I'm telling you, this has been one of the most idiosyncratic weeks I've ever had, I think. High and low lows. Yeah, hang on. Okay, I probably misspelled Philippines, so what I'm gonna do is just leave Manila in there and see what I get. No, it's gonna force me to go into an atlas. Hang on one second while I look it up. I'm sorry for those listening. No, I spelled it right. Okay, I don't know what your problem is. And of course, it deleted his birthday. Yep.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm almost there. So you said what time? 4:18 a.m.
4:15 a.m.
4:15 a.m. I was close. Okay, good deal. All right, there we go. We're all set. Now I'm going to save it. Okay, no turning back. So what is it you would like to know about this gentleman?
Would like to know just like personality, maybe how they're in love, and how our energies go together.
You really like Sagittarius, don't you?
Maybe it's because of my rising.
Yeah, it's your rising and your Neptune. So for those listening, you have Neptune at 22 degrees and a 15-degree Sagittarius rising. So your Neptune is 7 degrees into your first house. He has Uranus at 12 Sag, South Node at 15 Sag, Venus at 21 Sag, a Sagittarius ascendant at 26, Jupiter at 29 Sag, and Neptune at 29 Sagittarius and 59 minutes. It is right in the split hair before it changes signs. You can't get any closer than 29:59. So 1, 2, 3, 4 planets in Sagittarius, a Sagittarius rising and a South Node in Sag. Lots of Sagittarius. This is a man who has to travel, has to teach, and is on a spiritual quest and needs, without a doubt, freedom, especially with Uranus and Sagittarius. He's extremely independent. And let's see, Venus in Sagittarius on natal Neptune, he definitely expresses desires that you have and seek. Okay? So I can understand why you're very attracted to him, because Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune are on your Neptune for him. That they all trigger your desires. So he's doing with his life what you want to be doing on some level, only he's doing it to the extreme. And remember what I said about Sagittarius being extreme? He's extreme. And then he has Mars and Pluto conjunct in Scorpio. So Pluto rules Scorpio. Mars is a lesser energy of Scorpio. They're both similar energy where they want to be aggressive, or Pluto likes to burn it. Well, it doesn't like to. Let me rephrase that. Pluto is used to chasing an idea until it doesn't work anymore, and then it will, like, It will, and I use this terminology because Phoenix is associated with Pluto and Scorpio. It'll burn it down and rise from the ashes. It is about transformation on a very profound level. And he has Mars right next to it. Of course, he has Mars after it, which means when he came in, Mars was probably, well, it had just passed by 1 degree, probably 1 or 2 days before they were conjunct exact. And then he came in and said, wow, that was very transformative. And now I'm off to the races. Having had that experience, I know what to do. And then he has Saturn at 15 Scorpio. So his Mars, his Pluto, and his Saturn are all in Scorpio. This is a very focused, concentrated man. His energy can be very dogmatic, and he's about his vision and his say. And then he has Sun in Capricorn at 27, which is about the structure. It's a Saturn energy, and it is a creator of systems and structure, and he has a 1 degree moon in Leo, which is very larger than life and can be gregarious and generous, but very dramatic, as is Scorpio. So this is a larger than life man. I mean, if I looked at this chart, I would say this is someone who is into like world travel, climbing Mount Everest, and extreme sports. Or, you know, he cannot stay put. That's huge in his chart. Like, he's here to travel. So he has Mercury at 3 degrees Capricorn too, the one little planet I forgot there. Mercury in Capricorn, it is about creating a structure, but also telling about the travels in a tangible form. So he could write books about his travels. Let me see if there's any Pisces in his chart. He has Vesta in Gemini and Norton in Gemini. So he is about information and education, and he's here to learn and grow and express, and also enlighten people to what he's found. He's he can be very sincere at times. Not saying he's insincere, but what happens is his Scorpio is very dogmatic, and also it's in positive concert. Like Pluto and his Sun are in sextile. Sextile. And so they talk to each other, and they're very much about having a purpose and wanting to make a difference. And then how he expresses what his desires are can go to extremes, and he can be really like an activist for other people of other cultures, and but he is about education and learning. He's both. He wants to learn and he wants to teach. He wants to find out information, Scorpio, seek research, and then he wants to tell the tale, Moon in Leo. He's about it. So a lot of fire.
That's a lot.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Hang on, I'm sorry. 5 planets and fire. A lot of fire. And then 3 waters. And then just a little bit, a smattering of earth. So he's mostly fire, and then he has the water, which makes him kind of steamy and sultry. And I would say Mars, Pluto conjunct, and a ton of Sagittarius. The guy's sexy, sexy, sexy.
Yes, yes.
So
now, how does that fare with me?
Yeah, I knew that was the next question. So Uranus, you have Uranus in Scorpio, and so you understand kind of this sultry, smoldering kind of energy. It's in your 12th house, the water house. And then all the Sagittarius, except Uranus, which is in the 12th, all the rest falls right in your first house. So you identify with him. What I'm more concerned with is him, like how you fall in his chart. And so let's see. So the Jupiter-Mars conjunction you have in Virgo falls right outside his house of commitment, which is where I look for something actually being tangible. So that can mean that you do have a connection to him and that you're here to teach him. And your North Node falls in his house of commitment in Leo at the last degree. So let me see. What else you got? Your Venus is late degree in his house of home and family. And so there is a definite attraction to you romantically and as an energy that relates to his home life, that he can see a connection with you in the home. And then because his rising sign is also Sagittarius at 26, your Neptune falls in his 12th house right on his Venus. So there is definitely a love of travel and education and learning and spiritual growth that you can bring to him. I'm trying to see. You've got great communication. Your Moon Mercury conjunction is in his house of communication. There's some nonverbal energy you bring into his world that, like, and definitely the connection to the 12th house with his Uranus. Let me look at it. Yeah, his Uranus is in your 12th house, and I want to say vice versa. No, your Uranus is just outside his 12th in the 11th. So there's a really strong friendship connection going on with more of a, it's like you're in the same soul group with kind of a similar mission for people.
Yeah, I can feel
like,
that.
Yeah, is that something that you connect to? Okay.
Yep.
And then let me see. Your Saturn is closer to his midheaven, but it's about 8 degrees off of his midheaven in the house of higher understanding and spiritual growth. So you to him can be more like a teacher, like the person who's more meticulous about the details. And that gets along with his Saturn, Mars, Pluto conjunction in Scorpio, but it's kind of at odds with his Sagittarius because you're going to split hairs in certain things and he's going to go, I don't worry about those details, whatever, and it can have a little bit of friction with it because his energy is really expressive and physical. He likes nature. He wants to be around nature. He's like, is this true? Like, I'm curious, is he an outdoors guy? Does he go for hikes or mountain bikes or, is he active like that?
I think he is. I only met once. I know he's like a super duper artist, like he's graphic design and like painting and like
that's his Leo.
Music, love.
Yeah,
music.
I was just about to say music because Sagittarius rules musicians. And so he's probably quite talented in that with Jupiter in Sagittarius and Venus in Sagittarius. And he has a South Node in Sag also. So he came in with Uranus 3 degrees off his South Node and Venus 6 degrees off his South Node. So his South Node is his past life, what he brings into this life. So he was a musician. He was, I would say what came to mind was minstrel. He was like a minstrel in a past life. Yeah. And Uranus, Uranus right near the South Node means that he's got a lot of creative ideas and inventions around that energy. Like he can bring in understanding of new technology because Uranus is technology as it relates to music. And then I've got chills with that. And then he has Venus close to the South Node. So there's an expression out of what he's learned about music, and Venus is love and desire. So his love nature is expressed through music. That's his artistic side. His feminine side expressed out through music and nature and travel. And I always throw this in too. There can be real estate connection with Sagittarius. So he could be someone who would like to do actually with a moon in Leo. He's really good with interior design, believe it or not. He probably has a really great aesthetic that can express. Yeah. Especially and Capricorn planets too. Yeah. Capricorn energy is around that as well. So Capricorn about the crib, so to speak. It's about the structure of what he how to explain it. All the earth signs are about the material world. So when you have that much creative energy, and he has some in his 12th house and he has some in the first house, it's like he can bring it into the material world through his environment or through his career, but he has to express it in the material world. Mercury in Capricorn, he wants to bring it down to the physical plane. So even though he's kind of off in this experimental universe of creativity and drive and going and doing, he also needs to have that concrete stuff. And that also, his ego and his ideas work well with your Virgo, and that's your drive, because his Mercury is in trine to your Mars-Jupiter connection, right in between the two, actually. So Mars for you is at 2 Virgo retrograde, his Mercury is at 3 Capricorn, and your Jupiter's at 4, so 2, 3, 4. So it's like he gives you the ideas on how to do the physical structure of things. But, you know, you just met this guy briefly, and I'm giving you, like, here, this is all that I see. But anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot with this chart. So, yeah. You have any questions? Or did I drop you? Are you there? Uh-oh. Okay, well, I don't know where you went. I'm kind of... Oh, she's breaking up. Oh, yeah, I hear you trying to talk. Okay, yeah, your sound is really breaking up. So whatever you're doing, either move or take it off the microphone. You have it?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
there. Okay.
I don't know how I'll be able to hear the playback.
Yeah. Well, you can if you listen in archive, you can hear what I've told you. But I think pretty much I've told you as much as I can tell you without like going into a private session. So anyway, Kay, I'm sorry that your phone connection is not good, but yeah, I mean, we just had someone drop off, but anyway, I can't hear you, so I thank you for the call, and I'm going to go on to the next caller. 770, are you there?
Hi, Shelley.
Hi, who is this?
This is Maddie. I spoke with you before. It's been a while.
Sure. What can I do for you today?
Well, you mentioned I'm a Capricorn, and you mentioned what's going on with Capricorn. I don't know if I need to give you my birth information again.
No, I've got it. January 7th, 1945, 6:50 p.m., Cuthbert, Georgia.
Got it.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, all the Capricorn energy is in your house of work. And let me just see the degrees here. You have a sun at 17, a south node at 18, and then Mars at 1, looks like. Yeah.
A south node at where, you say?
18 degrees Capricorn.
Oh, 18
so
degrees.
Right
Okay.
Yeah, 18 degrees. And then Mars is at 1 degree Capricorn. So Venus is at 1 degree Capricorn right on your Mars. So what that is at work there is an energy where you have the masculine and feminine in complete cooperation. So your desires, you're able to take action on your desires. They're in tangible cooperation. So whatever ideas or awareness you have of something that is pleasing, pleasurable, beautiful, whatever, you're able to bring that out in your environment of work. And it's also health. So Venus is about the beauty of something, but it's also about wanting, like when you have a desire, it's like, oh, that pleases me or it doesn't please me. Today, that desire to do something is expressed out natally, like your natal Mars wants to take action and systematize it. So if you feel like, hey, this would be really good if I did that, or, I love to do this, you're able to take action, and it's like the same energy. It's like desire and action are in cooperation. And then,
wow, that's a good thing.
It is a very good thing.
Yes,
and then,
yes.
Yeah, and then Saturn, which is restriction, but it's also the energy that helps you build your muscle and where it falls. It's on your sun. So it's what it's really trying, and I've talked about this probably ad nauseum, but Saturn and Pluto specifically going through Capricorn, has been trying to wake us up that our power needs to be redirected away from others and focus more on what makes happy, because it's transformative. Like I said, it's burning the old dogma to the ground and transforming and then becoming a new person. And that energy went over your sun in the last couple of years and has been trying to make you aware of where you may control other people. Instead of expressing it out into the environment at work, you need to start owning who you are and focusing your energy towards yourself. And because your sun is in Capricorn, that's probably more of a pronounced energy for you. Saturn is saying, listen, if you didn't get that message, I'm here to tell you, if you're not focusing on your own stuff and stop your outside environment, I'm going to change what that is. And you need to own that you're more happy doing whatever, but putting the energy on yourself and what you can take care of within yourself and not express it out. You're not externalizing anymore, and that's something Capricorn is really strong with, is externalizing that need to control the environment. Instead of controlling the environment, you need to get real with your own personal fears about why it's triggering you. Does that make some sense?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay. So it's really this whole process of the Pluto transit, the Saturn joining Pluto in January of next year, and also Jupiter goes into Capricorn on December 3rd. So those three planets, huge life renovation. This is like, this house is getting old. I need to do something to change it up. I can't take it anymore. I wanted this addition and that room is not configured right. Only we're doing it psychologically, or we're doing it with our health, or we're doing it with our family members. It's this renovation energy. And for you having your sun there, it's a renovation of the sense of self within the work environment or around your health. Are you eating properly? Are you taking care of your health the way you need to? So, yeah.
I am. I could.
Awesome.
A health nut.
Yeah, good for you.
I do eat well. I think I eat well. Lots of greens, you know, and wild salmon. Just.
Good deal.
I've been on that kick for a long time. And
good.
far as health, I'm getting more into stretching.
Oh, that's so funny. This week, for some reason, there was a Saturday Night Live thing about this, was it Sally O'Malley? I'm 50 and I like to stretch and kick and stretch. I've been thinking about that all week long, and it just cracks me up every time I think of it. It's just a funny little thing.
Yes, I am doing that. Yes, I getting outside more in nature and stretching and just enjoying. And now, because I got kind of gotten away from it, and now I'm thinking, I got to get back because those muscles and those tendons and those connected tissues and blah blah blah.
Right.
I want to be. I want to be flexible.
Yep.
I want to. That's it.
Awesome.
So that's right on. Oh.
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on. Saturn on your sun is really wanting you to take ownership of your authority because it is a sign of the boss. It's about, hey, if you've been working as an underling, so to speak, or someone who's just a cog in the machine, universe wants you to own what you have to give and say, hey, I'm not putting all my energy into the hierarchy anymore. I'm putting it into me. And that's and now own your authority, own your power, own who you are in this world and where you need to be. So, yeah. You sound so young, too. I have to give it to you. You sound very youthful. That's that Pluto and Leo. You're like, boom, I got the youth going on. You're Leo rising also. Yeah, I was just looking at your birth year. I'm like, what? That can't be right. Like, seriously, my parents were born in 13 and 42, and you just sound like you're 50. Like, my goodness. So, good for you.
Wow. That has to do with Pluto? Oh, wow. Pluto
it has
and
to do with Leo. It's Leo.
And my Leo. And Leo. Oh.
Yeah, Leo rules children. And so you have this very youthful, enthusiastic energy. And you also have, go ahead.
I said, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
Yeah, Mercury and Sagittarius in the Leo house. Go ahead.
I have younger women tell me sometimes they want to be like me. I want to be like you.
Good for you.
I said, wow.
I think I would echo that. I mean, I'm not, well, I am younger, a generation younger, but yeah, I would love to be as lively and sprightly as you are. Also, Uranus and Gemini, it rules expression like elementary education in children. So Uranus is also a very lively, youthful energy. So Leo and Aquarius, which Uranus rules, are opposite, and that dynamic is also very new, fresh, youthful. So Uranus and Gemini and Pluto and Leo, you're very, hey, let's go. We've got this stuff going on. I'm on it. Let's do it. So yeah, good for you. It's fun.
Oh wow. Oh
yeah.
wow.
And
you know
it's
what?
interesting
It is interesting to hear that, because I often wonder, why do I attract younger men? And that is why, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll also tell you, interestingly, because your Capricorn is about the elderly, not you are, but like it's about people who resonate more to grandparents as opposed to their parents. And so you have that in your chart, like you really appreciate the lineage and the tradition of the elderly, but having the Leo in your chart definitely is what attracts youth. It's like, I was just telling my aunt this week, I have had guys attracted to me at 18 and 80. I have a man who does my handiwork, and he's flirted with me at 80 years old, and he's always telling me, oh, you're beautiful and this and that. I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, but 7 years of age, and I've got him, and I have Venus and Leo. But yeah, it's definitely that both ends of the spectrum. So good for you. Throw that out there to the universe. You'll attract something for sure.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, definitely late next year, Saturn goes to your house of marriage and partnership. So if you're not in a relationship, there's something coming in that's probably related to friendship. So there may be a friend who turns into more. Okay?
Okay. And I think I know who it is. Thank you.
Ooh, I got tingles. Okay. You have a great week. And, take care. And
I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, Maddie. All right. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening in. And we will see you next week in time for Valentine's Day. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com. To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.